Okay, so welcome back. So coming from Purdue, from Wen Jiang and Victor Chen's lab, we have Yomi and Tansi that will both be presenting. So something about Yomi, he does like music quite a bit, but maybe if he wasn't in science, he would have been a teacher. And microscopy is not so far from photography, and that's what Tansi would have done if he wasn't a scientist. Yeah. So I'll leave the floor to you, Yomi. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having us. Both of us are from Jiang's and the Chen's lab. So we'll be talking a little bit about cryoVR. What is cryoVR? What we do with cryoVR? How we can integrate cryoVR into the cryo learning procedure. So we call it virtual reality augmented cryo hands-on pre-training. So what that means is that we learn the training, the cryo technique, the training itself, but you can pre-train using the VR environment, which is virtual reality. So a little bit about why virtual reality in the first place. I think this has actually come to stay in our current world, where you can do a lot of things in a simulated environment, in a virtual environment, where you can actually ride a car in a virtual environment without having accidents. Even though you have the accident in the virtual space, you don't get hurt, right? You can fight boxing in a virtual environment and you don't still get hurt in person. So this has come to stay, and the science has also used taking leverage on this opportunity. People are already trying to learn how to conduct some experiments in the virtual environment rather than having to learn it in person, where you can make a fatal mistake that can lead to a lot of damage on both equipment and also yourself. I think the virtual environment now has been integrated into medicine, where people can learn a lot of things without having hands-on on human being themselves. So this has come to stay. So it's one of the reasons why we're also looking at how do we bring the virtual environment into cryo learning procedure. So that's why we call it cryoVR. Of course, we've realized that VR is an efficient and cost-efficient way of learning things and doing things. It's also safe and easy to access. You can be in the confines of your room and practice in the virtual environment. You don't need to go to a facility to pre-train or to use this virtual reality. It's safe. Just like I said, accidents cannot occur in a virtual space without anybody getting hurt. Of course, the quality and the consistency is also something to talk about, that you actually see what you can see in real life in a virtual space, just very similar to what you can see. And I will show how our cryoVR has simulated the equipment in real life to what we see in the virtual space. So a little bit more about cryoVR. It's part of this curriculum development module of the transformative agenda of the NIH. So you see things like the training modules on cryo 101. How many of us have seen that before? Good. Good, yeah. So these are some of the things that you can learn from before actually going to a facility like we are here to learn. You can watch videos on getting started in cryo by Grant Jensen. Has anyone seen that also? I'm sure everyone will have. Yeah, good. So I actually learned a lot from them before having hands-on cryo here myself. So the cryoVR is part of this curriculum development modules, where you can actually learn the handling of the equipment without touching it in real life. You can handle it in virtual space. The VitroBot, you can operate it in virtual space without having a practical hands-on on it. So the idea is just to get you familiar with the procedure of cryo. You can understand it, and instead of just watching a video alone, you can interact with the equipment. And we'll be doing that also in this short course, and that's why we are here to give presentation on it and also to have demonstration on it also. So I'll just play this short video for you to just listen to.
VR is a virtual reality training.
I'm not sure the sound is very clear, but let me see if I can increase it. All right, thank you. So that's just a brief about what cryoVR is. Of course, we've done a lot of exhibition. We've seen kids also trying it, trying to integrate this idea into the next generation scientists and see how they can leverage on the virtual environment. So, sorry. I'll move to the next slide. Okay. Oh. All right. So, in comparison with the traditional way of learning cryo-EM, where you read, watch video lectures, and practically go on site to learn how to use the equipment, just like some of us have been here before and currently are here right now. Introduction of the VR, especially what we call the cryoVR, is to hasten the process of learning and also to fast track the independence process. Where you read, of course, you have to have the understanding of what you want to do. Also watch the video lectures, like we already have a lot of curriculum development modules for learning. But the VR is an integration between practical hands-on and the learning of the theory. So this can help to shorten your time in the on-site facility because you already know what to expect. For instance, glow discharge. If you have done it before in the virtual environment, you know, okay, this is where to switch it on. This is how to put this lead. This is what to do. This is what dry is. This is how the liquid nitrogen looks like, the tank. So it's just to give a kind of knowledge about what you are expecting in the facility. And also the muscle memory kind of relationship. You know that, okay, this is how I handle this, I open this way. So it can be a form of you learning or pre-training yourself before going to the facility to actually have the hands-on. So we consider it a very good technique to shorten your time in the facility for learning where you have already done it before. And it's safe, so you don't need to worry about pouring liquid nitrogen on yourself. You can do it in the virtual space. Of course, there's hazard simulation also. If you open the heating tank and leave it on and those kind of things, you can also see the simulation of hazard in the virtual environment, but you don't get hot, just like it will be in the virtual, in the physical space. So we try to simulate the real equipment and the ones in the VR so that when you see in the VR, you know what it looks like in the real space. Without looking at the left panel, can anyone identify, okay, let's take VitroBot as example. Which one is the real one? Which one is the virtual one? Just a quick test without looking at the left panel. Some of us are looking already. It's difficult to recognize. Okay, yeah, I know it's a kind of puzzle that may be very difficult. Anyone want to try? Looks like you're hoping to try.
The left one has to be VR.
Okay. Yeah, because there's no light on the left one. I know, right? Well, actually, the left one is the real equipment, where the right one is the virtual one. So I think that was just a little bit to distract you so that you won't be able to recognize it. So the light is on the right one because there's also light in the virtual environment. You can switch it on and you see the light coming up. So we try to simulate it such that the differences are not too obvious. So that once you are seeing it in the virtual environment, you can also realize, oh, this is how it looks like in the real space. Yeah. So the same thing applies to other equipment. Of course, it's not 100%, it's not perfect, but it looks like something. So for single particle cryo-EM, we have these modules already in the virtual space for you to try. I'm sure during the course of the training, the short course, the workflow of cryo-EM, single particle cryo-EM, everything will be said and explained. But just like we have it on the screen from left to right, the glow discharge, we have the simulated version of it on the VR. You can operate it just like this. This is the real equipment, but this is the VR one here. So you can set it up, set the timing for your glow discharge, and every other thing can be set in the VR. The discharge will also happen in the VR, and you see that your grid has been discharged. So for everything in the virtual space, the VitroBot as well as the auto-grid clipping and the auto-grid loading. So we have all this in the VR, and we brought the headset for everyone to test and to try and see what we can learn from. And hopefully, when you get to your own station, your university or institute, you can implement the idea, use the VR over there, and learn more and train others as well. So not only single particle cryo-EM have we developed modules for, we've also developed for cryo-CLEM and also for tomography. So we have the Thunder and we have the Oculus 2, and we also simulated the cryo session, that's the inner chamber of the Oculus 2, what's going on inside the chamber. So all these are available right now, and some are still going through refinement processes. So after you've tried it, we would love you to give feedback. This space is not very good enough. Can you improve it? So we'd love to hear feedback from you as well. So I will invite Tansi to take over from here and present more about the application itself. Thank you very much.
Okay, so next I will introduce the cryoVR in detail. So when entering any cryoVR modules, we can see three modules. First one is the tutorial mode, and then practice mode, and the exam mode. So in tutorial mode, we will provide detailed text instruction and voice instruction. And we also will provide the visual instructions such as animations, indicators, and progress bars also be provided. So in cryoVR, the users will see a whiteboard in front of them, which is used to show the text instructions. The text instruction will have like a big title to tell you what is this step about, and the detailed information about how to do in each step. The user will be guided on how to complete the current step, such as how to picking up a tool from a certain place and performing a certain operation. So at the same time, the corresponding object will provide the visual guidance. For example, as the lower right images shows, the current step is open a valve of the ASEAN tank, and the red indicator appears to tell the user to open the valve with a counterclockwise direction. And the visual guidance also includes the progress bar and the animation. So for the progress bar, it shows for like how much the tool is cooled or how much the equipment is pumping or venting. And the animations help user to better understand the current step should be done, such as the handle should be moved from where to where. So next is the practice mode. So in practice mode, we will no longer provide any detailed text, sound, or visual instructions. The whiteboard in front of the user will only show the title of the current step and previous step and the next steps. The user will need to try to complete each step on their own and memorize the sequence of each steps. And when the user passes the practice mode and confident enough, they can try the exam mode. So there is no instruction provided in exam mode. The user will need to attempt to complete the entire module from zero by their own. So when the user completes the exam and submits it, the system will return a score based on the whole SOP of the modules, and the user's goal is to 100% correct. Yeah. So when the user got the 100% score, you will be able to receive a redemption code to redeem a certificate of completion of the corresponding module on cryoVR website. The website can log in via ORC ID. So once you complete the module and get the certificate, you can download from our website. So after the exam mode is complete, it will start a replay mode. So the users will be able to like watch the operations they performed in the exam mode in a playback perspective. So you will be able to play back all the things you have done in the exam mode. You will be able to pause, fast play, and slow play anytime. At the same time, the whiteboard in front of you will show the steps you have done and the correct steps, and even shows the steps you're missing or the steps in the wrong order. I hope the replay mode will help the user to more familiar with the whole procedure. We also got the undo function. When you stuck at some step, you can click the undo button and will take you back to the previous step, which can help you to restart again. Yeah. Yeah, we also have a hazard simulation system. Yeah. For example, when you're using ASEAN tanks, like the ASEAN itself is odorless, but highly flammable. Yeah, if the user makes a mistake, we'll play a hazard animation such as the firing or explosion, and then abort the training. Yeah. We hope that the system will raise users' awareness of safety and yeah. So this is the hands-free version, which Yumi already introduced before. Yeah. And we also have a multi-person version. So the user will see each other's hands inside the lab, and we're able to shoot laser beams out to indicator to pick up some items, and also even pass the items to other users. Yeah. So that's all the detail for cryoVR. If you are interested in our project, and welcome to follow us on Twitter and YouTube. And you may also get the latest VR module from our website or download the latest beta version on GitHub. And thank you for listening. And we would like to leave the rest of time for you to experience the cryoVR hands-on part. And if you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to leave them by scanning the QR code here. And thank you, guys.